Hello and welcome to another episode of Legion by the Numbers. I'm Joe Eames, and in this video we're going to be looking at the mercenary leaders, the Pike Syndicate Capo and the Black Sun Vigo. So we're just going to be looking at their offensive output and getting an idea of what kind of damage they actually are capable of doing if you end up using them to deal damage. Now we're going to start with the Pike Syndicate Capo because he is the easiest and weakest of the two. So the quickest one to go through here and understand and analyze his damage. So he does have a gear slot, which is interesting because it can get you something like the opportunity to take targeting scopes. You could do prepared supplies to make him a little bit more survivable with that dodge token. You can do a couple of things here, but mostly the only thing you can do for his offensive output is going to be this targeting scopes. So that's a possibility. And then on command, you can give him Vigilantly, has that dodge token. There is this new Lead by Example, which is Inspire 2. There's Underworld Connections, which is Allies of Convenience. All the rest of these, none of these are really going to help out much. Yeah, you could go with Aggressive Tactics to get like that Surge token available to him. I don't know if you're going to be putting the Surge token on him if you get any of these. So command slot isn't going to really help out much either. So let's just take a quick look and look at him. First off, the aid is not going to help too much. Mostly that's about giving your green tokens away. Danger Sense is defensive, Independent Dodge 1 defensive, Surge to defend. So all we've got is that 3 black. Not very creative. It is range 3. So not a lot of opportunity here for him to do more damage, but we will look at what he can do, and we'll even talk about with the aim token and possibly if you gave him targeting scopes, if that has any value at all. He is 45 points, so we'll go ahead and plug that in. As it stands, we won't consider the cost of his command cards. So let's start off with the easiest one, white, no surge, but we're going to start against heavy cover just to kind of take a glance at that. The 3 black with no extra, and we're looking at a 67% chance of doing no damage. On average, 0.3 points of damage. If we go over to like red or white with surge, it's just going to get worse. So without an aim token, our first lesson here is that if you're shooting at anything in heavy cover, any troopers in heavy cover, you're just really taking a long shot here. Let's add in an aim token to see if that helps us out any. For red, that doesn't really, it just takes you up to the level of going against white, like B1s. But if we go white, no surge, now we're getting like a 50-50 chance. So finally, if you do have a name token in heavy cover, maybe shooting at a B1s, something like that, you might actually do a point of damage, or you have a reasonable chance of doing a point of damage. Once you go to even white, surge to block, it's just not going to do any good. What if we had precise? Let's look at that really quickly and see if that really makes much of a difference. Without the precise, we were doing 0.61. With the precise, 0.62. It really doesn't change anything with adding those targeting scopes. So targeting scopes, not useful on this guy. Shooting in a heavy cover, really, unless you've got an aim, you don't want to be doing that, and it'll only get shooting against B1s. What about no cover? So let's go to no cover. We'll start with the hardest thing, red. We'll take away that aim and see what we do. Now, here we go. We got a better chance than not of actually dealing some damage. So if they don't have cover, then you actually have a pretty decent chance here of doing some damage. White surge to block is 1 point. White with no surge, 1.25. And then if we give him the aim token, everything's even better. Only a 25% chance of doing no damage against something under red with red defense dice. So shooting against something not in cover, actually not a bad idea with him. With light cover, and again, assuming that you have that aim. Without the aim, red is still better than average chance in anything, so you're probably going to do a point of damage to something not in cover. Giving him the aim even helps, but it doesn't help against heavy cover. So good to keep in mind. And then, of course, if we look at something like shooting into armor, terrible without the aim, and with the aim, still no better. So you don't want to really shoot at armor unless, you know, you're desperate trying to do something. So there's that Capo. Obviously not much of an offensive powerhouse. So a good thing to look at if you are going to take the Capo is he's about buffing the other characters and just keeping them alive. Worrying about trying to do some damage is really a last resort. Now let's instead go and look at the Vigo. For the Vigo, he's a little bit more interesting. He's more survival because he has the red defense dice with Dauntless is really nice. But he has that independent aim 1. So as long as you're not giving him command tokens, he's always going to have an aim token. Makes him a lot more viable. He is only range 2. So big difference between the Capo and the Vigo. But look at these dice. Now he has an extra die. Yeah, you're switching 1 black die for 2 white. But with aim, and you do have the gear slot that you can go with those targeting scopes. So things are going to get a little bit different here. So let's go ahead and look at his damage. He's going to have 2 black, 2 white, and he's going to always have that aim token. So I like that. It is really nice. Let's start with our harder red heavy cover. And we'll just go ahead and roll this. And in heavy cover, you got like a 62% chance to miss. Not really, you know, better chance than not. You're not going to do any damage. What if we give him the targeting scopes? Got a little bit better, but not much. We should plug in those points values. 50 points for him. Okay. What about white surge to block? We'll get rid of that precise and see if that's any better. All right. Now we're about 50-50. White, no surge. Better than average chance that we're actually going to be doing damage. Again, only range 2. So not exactly great, but still a possibility. What happens though when we go to no cover? Let's go back to red, no cover. He's got the aim, and now all of a sudden, look at this. There's only 27% chance of doing no damage, and you're doing 1 to maybe 2 points of damage on him. Is the precise worth it? Let's look. Let's go to 54 points. So it's targeting scopes, and give him precise 1 and see, is it more efficient points wise? And it's not against red. Goes from 44.7 points per hit to 46 points. So it went up a little bit. So the lesson here is targeting scopes aren't great on him if you're going to be shooting red defense dice. Let's try white. Let's go back to 50 and no precise. White, no block, out in no cover. And we're doing 1.86 of 26 points per hit. We'll go to the precise and 54 with those targeting scopes. And still the efficiency did get worse, went up from 26 to 27. So yeah, a little bit more damage, but you don't really want to give him targeting scopes. You're probably going to want to get, if you're going to use that equipment slot, you'll probably want to use it on something more strategic because targeting scopes just don't make that much of a difference. But he is not bad at that range too against white search to block if they're not in cover. If you can shoot at things not in cover, he's doing a couple of points of damage. Against B1s, he's doing 2. He might even do 3 points against B1s, depending on the role. You have that aim token all the time. He's pretty decent at shooting against things. Again, only a range 2. So, that's a really good point here is that he needs to be outfitted such that he's useful when you can't shoot at things. When you don't have anything at range 2, he's still useful. And obviously the independent aim 1 with the aid is really going to be helpful. And he's very survivable anyway with the red defense die. Yeah, only 4 hit points, but still pretty survivable, so you can keep him alive long enough until things start getting into range 2, and then you can go at them. What about armor? Let's go white surge to block with armor, just the 1 aim token. Yeah, we're not even at a 50-50 chance of doing damage. A 59% chance you're not going to do any damage, so red, no surge, is just going to be worse. And it is. So you don't want him shooting in armor, and that's just a desperation move. He isn't most horrible just because he does have 4 dice, and you're rerolling 2 of them, so 6 out of 8 chance to throw out 1 crit. Not great, but there is at least a possibility with those 4 dice that you are going to at least make them roll a save if you have to shoot into armor. So our takeaways here for these 2 guys are the Capo. You only want him shooting at things that are not in cover, and only if he has nothing better to do. The Vigo, on the other hand, yeah, you still don't want him shooting at things in cover, but things that aren't in cover, he's going to start doing he's got some real capabilities, taking off 2 to 1 maybe 2, sometimes 3 models off the table if he's shooting at things that aren't in cover. So I hope you liked the video. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you in a further episode.